Okay, I think I'm live. Maybe it seems to be glitching. Okay, so let me know when you guys can hear me. I've been getting a lot of complaints about my audio being really low, so I turned it up, but now it looks kinda high. So I don't know. Go ahead and let me know when you guys can hear me. I'm just gonna go ahead and get kind of situated here. This is Sharon's Clarity Essence over at Desert Phoenix Acupuncture that I'm going to be taking. I'll have a link below for her website. I highly recommend her essences. I've been working with several of them. And this one is potent. I've been using it before all my client sessions. Okay. Melly says that she can hear me. Awesome. All right, I'm just going to light some lavender. Clear the space with a little sound, and then we will hop in. I want to go ahead and welcome all of our new Patreon members. For those of you watching this later on YouTube, this is a Patreon video that I do for my Patreon community, the Cosmic Alliance, every month at the beginning of the month, where we go over the energetics of the entire month. I have a calendar for them to print out in PDF format, and then you guys can screenshot it if you're watching this on YouTube later. If you'd like to join my Patreon, there'll be a link below as well. But I would like to welcome the new members. Hi everybody, welcome to the Alliance. Over on Patreon, linked below this video, is that PDF that I was mentioning. So it's a calendar PDF of the entire month breakdown that we're going to go through here tonight that you can reference throughout the month. And there's also a really great resource called the Astrologer's Apprentice. Hi Kathleen. Sounds great. Okay, I hope it's better. I got a lot of people mentioning that the sound on like the Lionsgate video and stuff was not great. It seemed okay on my end. I had to like turn it up, but some people were saying they couldn't hear it at all. So there's a really great resource linked below the post on Patreon as well, which is the Astrologer's Apprentice Cheat Sheet, which I highly recommend printing out and having with you anytime we meet to talk about astrology things. So for this video or for any of our moon videos, have your birth chart in front of you to reference, and then the Astrologer's Apprentice Cheat Sheet is a really great resource. For example, while we're talking about the month, we're going to be talking about many things happening in the sign of Leo and in the sign of Virgo. My hair's a little crazy. And in certain signs. And so you're going to want to look and see where that sign falls in your birth chart and what house is activated. So let's say that Leo falls in your 6th house, which is the house of like responsibilities and daily routines. You could look to the Astrologer's Apprentice Cheat Sheet to see what this 6th house is all about, and that'll kind of be like how this Leo energy is manifesting for you. This is a really great way to start to understand the language that is astrology and be able to memorize your chart. I didn't really like sit down ever with the goal of memorizing my chart, but by doing this, after a while, I knew where all my placements were and what sign is in what house, and even the degrees and things like that. So definitely want to have that, a notebook, a pen, your calendar, so that you can kind of jot things down. This month is intense, and I really think that my entire like awakening process and everything I've dove into, all the work I've done on the Lion's Gate and everything was really leading up to this specific year and this specific moment, in order for many of us to break free in time to be able to harness the magic that this month has to offer without funneling it through these specific channels of a Lion's Gate or an 8-8 date while we will be utilizing this 8/8 date because the Leo new moon falls on it, we definitely want to use it to break free from this like dogmatic new age system, which we're going to start to dive into tonight. We're going to dive much deeper into later this month, in just a couple of days, actually on the 4th, when we meet for our new moon video. And then even deeper as we go on. I think this is going to be another rabbit hole video, but we'll expand on that as we get into the slides. So this is the thumbnail. You guys know I always like to try to encode as much stuff as I can on the thumbnail. This one really just kind of has a list of all the things that are happening this month, just to kind of give you an idea of like the bulk of it. Some of these things in and of themselves, if it was just one of these things happening, they're massive, they're huge, but the month is just one thing after another, from this heliacal rising of Sirius that the Lion's Gate is trying to funnel through this specific portal. But it's energy that we're all feeling on an individual basis, dependent upon our latitude, dependent upon where we are on this planet. It's not specific, it's not dogmatic, it's personalized. And we're going to be talking a lot about liberation, which if you watched my Lionsgate video, you'll know that Sirius is connected to liberation. It's connected to revolution. Many countries' Independence Days fall, including America, fall aligned with Sirius. It is a star that helps us to see and break free. And this month, we're going to talk about this as we get into the chart, but this month really we're at like a divide here, particularly in the spiritual community. And you'll see why that is as we dive into the chart. But specifically in this like new age spiritual community is very much being highlighted right now. And us personally are at a divide where we can either fall in line with this new world order religion, which I'll expand on as we go through here, and line up at the mouth of the lion and enter through this gate of crucifixion. Or we can use this energy to ignite the Syrian revolution that is just ready to be birthed right now. And this revolution is very much going to begin within. So it's very much going to begin within the self here, within Leo, the consciousness of the self, the egoic self. And the choice really is ours, which direction that we take. And then below, I just kind of have all the stuff that's happening this month, which we'll cover. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a lot on like a mundane, muggly stage. Like if you were just watching a regular astrologer who's just talking about the immediate solar system. Even that astrology, which we are going to touch on here, but I really want to touch on more of like all the crazy starseed activations that we have going on this month. But if we didn't touch on that and we just focused on what's going on with our immediate planets, it's a lot. It's a lot. And much of what this whole year has been about with this Uranus-Saturn square is really, really the focal point right now. We are at a fork in the road. Decisions are going to have to be made. And new paths are going to have to be forged. And we're not really going to have a plan. We're really going to be having to like lean into that fiery Leo where you don't really think first. You think a little bit more. You think more than Aries. Not as much as Sagittarius, but you think, but you think more as, is this fun for me? Do I like this? Do I want to do this? And right now it's going to revolve very heavily about protecting the self and the child. A lot is going to have to do with children this month. Leo rules the child as well. So we're really going to be fighting for our future and deciding what path we take. And complacency is not the path to take. not questioning and falling in line is not the path to take. We have so much Uranian action this month, so much energy asking us to break free and be rebellious and erratic, and really to shake things up and not fall in line. So for those of you on YouTube, you can go ahead and take a screenshot of this now. Hi, Sharon. Like I said, there is a link to my Patreon down below if you would like to join. There's several different tier options. This video is available at the beginning of the month for the $5 a month tier and above. And take a moment, please, to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel because it really does help me out. I don't think I'm really gonna ever be a fan of the algorithm with all the crazy things I say. So I definitely need help from you guys. So if you could do that, that would be great. We're gonna go through this as we go through the chart. I just wanna really quick go over the color key. And this month I'm going to stay focused since usually I only go over a couple of colors before I go off on a tangent. So if you look down below on the bottom right hand side, you'll see a little color key. There's a couple of different colors there. The yellow ones, the things that are highlighted yellow are like major transits, like major conjunctions, squares, oppositions, things that are like, okay, pay attention to this, this is a pivotal moment. Also planets changing signs. The light bright blue are our moons. So you see our Leo new moon on the 8th and our Aquarius full moon on the 22nd. The pink ones are our live streams here on Patreon. So we have our forecast today. In just about 2 days on the 4th, we're going to be meeting again for our Leo new moon. We have the full moon live stream on the 19th. And then on the 26th, we're going to be meeting for our Cosmic Circle Zoom meeting where we meet and chat. And then on the 29th, we're going to have a Cosmic Kids Zoom meeting for those of us with kids where we can meet and they can chat. So those are the pink ones. The green ones, as you can see, we have a lot of green this month. Normally there's just one or two. The green ones are our starseed activation dates. So conjunctions and alignments with the fixed star or galactic realm. And then if you look over 2 places, you'll see a blue highlight with white writing. And that just tells you that the blue highlight and white writing that goes across the bottom of all of the days down below, you'll see, that is the lunar transit throughout the entire month. So the moon transits the entire zodiac all the way around throughout the month. And it makes contact with every single starseed and black hole, starseed point, fixed star, black hole, every month. And here in the Cosmic Alliance, we've been trying to find ways to like tie these like closer aspects of our consciousness, like the moon, which is that like psychic body, that emotional psychic body, to the like greater galactic realm and work to integrate these. And we've been following along with the lunar transit as it transits all these points, and it's really been illuminating a lot of things for us. So if that's something that you'd be interested in doing, that is what the blue things are down below. I recommend screenshotting this, printing it out, and like referencing throughout the month as things occur. And then you'll get a little bit of insight as to like why things are occurring and how they're manifesting like currently. And then also like what kind of energies you can reach out to for like clarity or to work through. Oh, we'll come back to those later. Okay, so I usually have my little slide that says, okay, let's go to the chart, so that I remember to go to the chart. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the chart. I'm gonna have to click over it. That's at the 6th. I'm not gonna be able to see the chat. Sharon, we should be good. So there's going to be some things here on this calendar that we don't necessarily touch on tonight, or we touch on quite briefly, but there are a couple of key things that I really want to highlight. So those are going to be what we kind of like focus on as we go through here. Give me a second. I don't really have much room here. I also forgot to do this. All right. I'm looking for my phone. Sharon, if anything glitches, can you text me if you're still awake? I know you might not make it all the way through. Okay, solar fire. All right, so as we're meeting today, it is the 2nd. And if you look at the calendar, you'll see that the first week of the month, we have a lot of action that is leading us up to this 8/8 new moon, which is really going to be a pivotal moment. Throughout the beginning of the month, we have Mercury. Yesterday, Mercury exactly conjuncted the sun here in Leo, only a couple of degrees away from Alexandria. It actually reached Alexandria today as I was working on this video. Or later today it did, because this is like midnight, so like later today it reached Alexandria. The sun will reach Alexandria on the 5th, so we have this massive conjunction happening here in Leo. When Mercury aligns with the sun, it's what's called a cosimi. It's a really, really, really strong energy, particularly of our consciousness. Both Mercury and the sun represent our consciousness just through different like manifestations. Mercury is very much our like logical, analytical mind. And the sun, I really need a fan in here. It is so hot. I'm gonna have to put my hair up. Hold on. The sun is more of our like solar consciousness. It's more of our egoic consciousness. We don't have, just like it's hard to see the shadow, it's often hard to see the ego as well. And the sun is how we shine, and it's not necessarily how we even know that we shine, but it is this more egoic consciousness, while the Mercury is our logical mind. And these were both lining up in Leo, aligned with Alexandria throughout this beginning week. The sun will exactly conjunct Alexandria on the 5th, right before it exactly squares Uranus. So what we really have here is this conjunction here in Leo opposite Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is at 10 degrees of Aquarius, currently retrograde, and it is exactly opposing this conjunction. We also have this conjunction trining Chiron here in Aries, and squaring Uranus here in Taurus. So we have a T-square between Saturn, the sun, Mercury, and Alexandria. This is an opposition, and a T-square to Uranus. This Saturn-Uranus square has been what this entire year is all about, and it is a focal point of this entire month. This Saturn-Uranus square is actually now a T-square with this energy, which is going to be the focal point of our 8/8 moon. And in addition to this T-square, we have this trine to Chiron. So this energy here, this opposition, this square, this trine, is really the energy of the first week of the month as these start to build. They all like dominoes become exact. Mercury conjuncts the sun and opposes Saturn on the 1st. Mercury trines Chiron on the 2nd, the same time that Venus trines Uranus. And Mercury conjuncts Alexandria. Mercury then squares Chiron on the 3rd. when the sun comes into its trine with Chiron and then conjuncts Alexandria right before it squares Uranus. Literally, the whole first week of the month is all of these things becoming exact, leading up to the moon, where they will all play key points, because this whole thing I just laid out for you, the T-square and the trine, are the same aspects that are going to be happening with our moon, which will be falling here around 16 degrees. So what does this mean? I wrote a little something here, and then I'm going to expand upon it. I wrote that the first week of the month is leading into the 8/8 moon. What is this about? It's about remembering and breaking free. The illusion that we're breaking free from, the illusion that has dominated this realm since the fall of Atlantis. And I say this because right now, Atlantis is a key player later in the month, and we'll get there in a second. But right now, Atlantis is opposing Neptune. It's opposing the planet of illusion. It's opposing the planet that literally governs the flood in the sign of the waters. And it's retrograde right now. So it is shattering illusions within this spiritual realm. It's shattering illusions in general. And it's helping us to see what we had rose-colored glasses onto before. And a lot of this stems back all the way to this timeline, to this split, to this divide, to when a lot of these lies or distortions were started to be considered truths, started to replace what our souls knew. And this energy of the month is really allowing us to either fall in line with said illusion and completely dissociate and just eat it all up regardless of facts or data, or to break free, liberate yourself. We see this happening across the world right now. It is not being aired on television, but many countries are leaning into this Syrian energy of revolution, leaning into this liberating energy, and standing in their truth and sovereignty, and remembering what it was like to be free, or to be aligned with truth and ancient knowledge before the distortions took foot. So what I wrote here is that this illusion has dominated this realm since the fall of Atlantis. And in order to break free, we're going to have to address the Saturn opposition. We're trying to allow our consciousness, the sun and Mercury, to remember what was lost for good. It was already starting to be occulted and hidden and kept only for the elite, but it still existed. And philosophers were aware of it and such. But what finally disappeared when the Library of Alexandria was destroyed? What knowledge and wisdom left our mind forever so that it could be replaced with falsehoods and fantasies and illusions? And this conjunction here, which is the focal point of this 8/8 moon that this week is leading up to, is here to help us remember. But in order to do that, we have to address this Saturn opposition. Saturn is retrograde. It's retrograde in Aquarius. Saturn is here to deal out karmic debt. We're going to have to address some sort of karmic ties to this energy. There will be a test. There will be a lesson. We will need to take responsibility. And then the integration, because this is trining Chiron, the integration of both runes and wisdom will need to occur in order to navigate this effectively. So let me elaborate. The entire month is leading us up to this 8/8 moon. I believe the entire last 3 years have been leading me up to this moon. I think that all the work that I did into understanding and dissecting and questioning and beginning to break free from the New Age dogma that is the Lion's Gate was leading up to this pivotal moment. You guys can feel it. You can see that we are at a precipice as a collective here. A lot of astrologers are calling this Saturn transiting through Aquarius, and particularly this retrograde cycle, as our collective, because Aquarius rules the collective, our collective Saturn return. And we're being faced with, like I said here, karmic debt, tests, lessons, and the need to take responsibility. And not everybody can do this. There's a multitude of, well, there's a couple of different manifestations that Saturn can take when he comes around with a Saturn return. If you are in alignment, if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you are showing up to the test, studying for the test, learning the lessons that the test holds, taking responsibility and accountability, and working to level the fuck up, then Saturn will reward you. Saturn is the great teacher. He rewards hard fucking work. He rewards us dealing with our karmic debt and the patterning that is developed over time. Or if you're not in alignment or doing what you're supposed to be doing, like, he will straight up fuck your shit up and just like shatter it to the ground in order for you to come into alignment. Like, he's not going to let you build a faulty structure for too long. He'll let you do it for a little bit. I think he likes to watch you fall. But this entire month is leading to this becoming active. The opportunity to unlock so much lost or forgotten wisdom that our soul knows. That's why we know this landscape does not sound right. It's not right. It's close. That's why we jumped onto it right away. Oh, Sirius and this and that. Like, we feel a soul remembrance to this star, and we want to celebrate it. But our soul knows, like, it wasn't being done right. And so we have this opportunity to remember what is right and how we can come into alignment with this energy, but it will require us to own up and take responsibility for these things. And a lot of people are not ready to do that. A lot of people are not ready to do that, and they will double down on it until Saturn completely shatters their reality. And a lot of shattering is happening later this month. A lot of shocking truths will be coming through this Uranian energy. A lot of shattered illusions will be coming as transits, as planets oppose Neptune. And a lot of beliefs will be restructured later this month when we have our second Aquarius new moon that will align with Jupiter retrograde here, which is literally restructuring our beliefs around the spiritual realm in general. And right now, there's really not much tangible for us to hold on to except for the basics. And I think that's what we're supposed to be coming back to, the basics. It's all within us. Truth is found within. As above, so below. We are one with all that is, finding alignment, finding balance, non-polarization, simple things. I think when we try to complicate things too much, we fall into dogma. And I think that's what a lot of us are realizing, and what a lot of this month here in the Cosmic Alliance is going to be about understanding. Okay, so the month is leading us up to that, right? And then we have the 8/8 moon on 8/8, the Leo new moon on 8/8. I'm just going to come and check in with the chat really quick and make sure you guys are here. Sharon says, yeepers, as long as I'm awake, I'll let you know if anything funky happens. Oh, yeppers. Oh, thank you, Sharon. It is so hot in here. I need a fan, but like, it's too loud. Okay, so we can't hide from the Lion's Gate, you guys, and we shouldn't. Well, if you watched my, let me get over here to the 8th. If you watched my Lionsgate video, not everybody heard me. A lot of people think that I think that lions are evil, and I don't think that. A lot of people think that I think that this date is evil and you should like hide in a cave or something, and that like, oh, make sure to like protect yourself, and I don't think that either. And a lot of people think a lot of things that I didn't say. So we want to clarify. The only issue that I have with this period of time is Sirius's heliacal rising. It is rising in the sky. This is happening. We can all align with this, and there's nothing wrong with it, and you very much should align with it. The issue that I have is this rise of energy being funneled through something that is called the Lion's Gate, making it very specific and dogmatic, and then also being its focal point being this 8-8 date, when that is not accurate. And so it makes you wonder why choose this inaccurate date. And that is what led me down the whole path that you guys probably watched if you're here in this video, so I'm not going to recount it too much. So, do I think that you need to hide in a cave because your energy is being siphoned on that day if you even think about lions? No, I do not think that. What I think is, as long as your intention, the universe runs on intention, so as long as your intention is to align with this natural, free-flowing Sirian energy, independent of a lion gate or even this 8-8 date, because you understand that it's happening over this week. And for your specific latitude, it's on a specific day. If you need help finding what day that is, you can message me on Discord if you are a Patreon member, and I will help you out. I can't reply to a bunch of DMs. My DMs are so full on Instagram right now. So if you have messaged me and I have not replied, it's because I literally can't, or I will not stay sane. So this moon, this 8-8 moon falls exactly in between this year's 2 Aquarius moons, okay? We have 13 moons a year. We have 12 zodiac signs in traditional astrology. So more often than not, there is a double moon that falls in between. Sometimes it'll be like the Aries, like the start and the end will have the same moon. But often there is some sort of month in between where the way it falls, there's one early in the month and then there'll be one late in the month in the same sign. So we have that happening right now in Aquarius. Last month we had a full moon in Aquarius. 2 weeks later, in just a couple of days, we will have a new moon in Leo. And then 2 weeks after that, we will have another full moon in Aquarius. So this Leo new moon is sandwiched, this 8-8 Leo new moon is sandwiched between 2 Aquarius full moons, okay? I wrote here, and all of the stuff that I just outlined for you, that opposition, I'll show you here. We'll talk about this a lot more in the Cosmic Alliance. I'm not getting too deep into the moon now. I'm just trying to lay out the energetics of what's really important this month rather than go through the whole calendar and all the little things. So, the moon is at 6:50. That can't be right. It's off by a little bit. Weird. I guess I have my time wrong. Oh, because this is New York time. It's at 6:50 in LA. I don't know why that says New York time, but it's at 6:50 a.m. In Pacific Standard Time. And this moon falls here exactly conjunct Alexandria. Mercury is also considered conjunct this moon. So you see this Leo stellium opposing Saturn here in Aquarius, trining Chiron, like we talked about before, asking us to integrate the wounds and the wisdom, and then it is also activating the Saturn-Uranus square that we have been experiencing all year. This Saturn-Uranus square comes and shakes shit up. These transits historically have been connected to complete changes in dynasties. And this specific Saturn-Uranus cycle, if you have heard me talk about, it started back in 1988, conjunct the galactic center, and it will end in 2032, conjunct Polaris, opposite the galactic center. And I'm calling this the New World Order transit. It's connected to globalization, and it's pretty much what it is. It was the shift from all different ideologies, from fascism to communism, to the Americanization of the world, to the globalization of the world, which is where we're at now in this last little stretch. And this square is the last trigger period before the ending of this cycle, before the next conjunction. This is like our last chance to do anything before the end of the story is written for us. And this moon in particular aligns with this energy. We have been feeling the Saturn-Uranus square all year. It was exact in February, in July, and then it will be exact again in December due to retrograde. It's hitting 3 times exact. And this is a chance for us. It's a battle between the new and the old, but it's like several different forms of new and old. And you guys have heard me talk about how the new is fucked, especially connected to Uranus in Taurus. This is a lot of transhumanism. Uranus was in Taurus during World War II, when the Nazis were developing a lot of the things that are now being used against us, particularly around technology being used here in the physical realm as a method of control. And I don't know how to say this. This moon and this period, the rest of the year is really going to be where we solidify what path we're taking. And I kind of feel like a lot of people aren't really aware of this. A lot of people either have the false illusionary rose-colored glasses on that the world's going back to normal, and they're just picking up their lives where they were before and hoping that everything goes back to normal. And the other faction is completely delirious and literally thinks that some solar event is going to come and everybody is going to pop into 5D and everything is going to be great, so they don't need to do anything about it. Here in the States, other countries see, and I've talked about this before, I talked about how America has a false sense of security because we have guns, and so we think that we can defend ourselves because and we have this like false sense of personal security because we have weaponry. But other countries, like the European countries and the South American countries that are protesting right now, they don't have that. They know that if their rights are fully taken away, there is nothing that they can do. And the same applies for us right now. And this transit is highlighting that for us. This moon, I wrote right here, this Leo moon sandwiched between these two Aquarius moons. These two Aquarius moons represent our future. Aquarius is the sign that governs the future. And if you have been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about how this sign of Aquarius has 2 streams. It has 2 streams of evolution. It has the evolution of awakening, which Uranus very much represents, who governs Aquarius. And then it has the evolution of through technology, which Uranus also represents technology and technological advancements. So we have these two streams, transhumanism and the awakening of human consciousness through natural means. And so this Leo moon, this A8 Leo moon, is sandwiched between two Aquarius moons. It's like sandwiched between these two streams of consciousness. And this moon is when we break free. It's when we break free from our shattered reality. Neptune's over there shattering shit. Shit that spans all the way back to Atlantis. It spans all the way back to the split that occurred then. Okay, this rhymes, so I'm gonna read it from the beginning. You guys know some of my things come out in rhymes. So it says, God, Allie. It says, this is when we break free from our shattered reality and see with clarity or see with clarity and align with the path of sovereignty. This is when we break free from our shattered reality and see with clarity, aligned with sovereignty. And that's what the new moon is in a nutshell. And we're going to talk very heavily about it in the Cosmic Alliance. We're going to talk about the personal spiritual quest this time holds for us, how the funneling of this Sirian energy through the Lion's Gate is literally word for word out of the New World Order religion, which I recently stumbled upon in some books sent to me by Jamie, one of our Patreon members. So thanks for that, Jamie. So I'm on a whole new rabbit hole of this New World Order religion that much of the New Age movement embodies without even knowing it. You know, they talk a lot about the Illuminati and the Freemasons and all of these occult organizations, yet they've fallen in every single one of their traps and are currently promoting the distorted esoteric truths that these organizations want them to. And yeah, we're going to uncover it. We're definitely going to uncover it here in the Alliance. We're going to be diving very deeply into this topic. So this moon, I have some notes here. This is when we ignite the personal Sirian revolution and we really align with our passions and our drive and our purpose for our children, for the future. Or we walk through the gate of the beast and enter the New World Order. It's pretty as simple as that. I'm just laying it out there. I don't really give two shits anymore. I could sit back and be quiet and timid and, you know, it'd be a lot easier on my page. I would have much more followers and I would, you know, grow and all that jazz. But like, what is the fucking point if the world ends? What is the fucking point if my kids live in some sort of transhumanist technocracy, like a page right out of The Giver? Like, there is no point. It's literally now or never, and the transits are showing us that. And I honestly feel deep down in my core, and we're going to touch on this much more in the Cosmic Alliance in just a couple of days for our moon. It was all leading up to this moment, all of it. My huge awakening experience and everything that I've researched and dove into and pondered and downloaded since then was leading up to this moment. This month and the end of 2021 is huge. I don't even know how to explain this to you. I can't even go through this whole thing because I'll be here forever. I want to talk on everything so much. I just really want to give you the energetics of the month. I want you to understand that this first week is so pivotal. This first week is really leading up to this moment, this moon, where we are going to dive in and we are going to set some powerful intentions and align with true sovereignty and our true path forward, igniting that Sirian revolution, igniting it within and within the collective in order to be liberated from this patriarchal beast that is very, very, very much alive. And it does not need help. I do not need to help feed its gate. It has plenty of food, and I'm not going to give it any of my spiritual food. That does not mean that lions are bad. Lions are fabulous, and they have many archetypes, and the ascended lion archetype is sovereignty, and that is what we are going to be aligning with. Not walking through a gate to our crucifixion, and then people are like, but it represents the resurrection of Christ. That's fine. He was crucified. He could have done a lot more good if he stayed around and got to do his wizardly shit. But instead, he was crucified, and a controlling religion was built around him. I don't want that. I'm going to align with the true path of sovereignty that that archetype, represented before he walked through the lion's gate to his death. I wrote here, and it rhymes. This moon is the test, the quest, and the remembrance, or it's the New World Order entrance. Break free and remember through Alexandria. Don't walk through the gate. And if you don't, this month holds massive activations through the Supergalactic Center and Atlantis and Alexandria, where we can just remember what our soul knew at these heightened moments and really align with that wisdom and channel it in. But I wrote here, not everybody's going to make it, and they're not. They're not going to make it. Really quick, I just want to cover, before we go any farther, I just want to list all the like starseed transits that are happening this month, just so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, because it's a lot. On the 2nd, Mercury, our consciousness, the messenger of the gods, the bringer of energetics into our mind so that we can see and comprehend, aligns with Alexandria. That was today. So think about what came through for you today. I mean, I saw how dire this period is. I was really shown with clarity how I've kid myself, and how I too have fallen into and helped promote a religion and how I really want to lean more into this idea of liberation and questioning fucking everything. And that's really what this is going to be about a lot over here, is like questioning and rewriting the archetypes. Me and Sharon have been talking about this a lot. Going to the source, rewriting the archetypes, understanding them for ourselves, aligning with these stars' frequencies, and understanding what they mean for ourselves, and not from someone else. Not even me. Like, whatever I tell you, like, don't be like, well, the Cosmic Space Witch said. Be like, okay, that's cool. She said that. What do I think? Let me ponder on it. How can I expand on that? How can I develop that into something more? Or how can I dismantle it and be like, no, I don't believe that. So Alexandria and Mercury conjuncted today. On the 5th, the Sun will conjunct Alexandria. Much will be coming through around that time. Be very, very mindful of what is unfolding for you. Mars will conjunct Draco on the 10th. We have a lot of Draco activations happening this month in Virgo, the sign of service to others. This is when we can really align with this serpent energy, this ancient serpent of knowledge and wisdom, in order to harness it for the collective in service of others. Now, that will require you to face any triggered or lingering or exposed shadow that is coming up at that time in order to align with that. So be mindful of however you're triggered, and you will be throughout Virgo season, because Virgo is very triggered all the time, and lots of anxious energy. So lean into that anxiety and try to dissect it and understand where it's coming from. On the 15th, Mercury will conjunct Draco and Venus will conjunct Atlantis. So our relationships are going to revolve heavily around rewriting these timelines. Around the 15th, Mercury, our consciousness, is going to be aligned with Draco. So that's that like shadowy energy of like diving into the darkness in order to integrate it so that you can obtain the gold that serpent was guarding, right? Now that's going to be happening simultaneously while Venus is conjunct Atlantis. So Venus, our relationships, are going to be aligned with Atlantis, only a couple of degrees away from the supergalactic center. We're going to be triggered. We're going to be triggered by our loved ones. And these triggers are happening in order for us to break the karmic patterning that stands in the way of us unlocking this wisdom, okay? This whole month is a fucking giant test. It's a whole giant test. It's a whole quest into the unknown, into I don't know what happened, but I got an alert saying it disconnected. Yes, Sharon, the 2 pillars. That's exactly, yes, yes. Melly says that we have mandatory check-ins using QR codes to scan for tracking. Yeah, that's Uranus. That's Uranus right there. And then Heather says, I feel you, girl. Yeah, I am pretty much done with the entire New Age movement. I scroll Instagram and I resonate with nothing. Now I scroll through Discord and I vibe a lot. Like, I don't know what we have going on over here. I'm not trying to say we're like better than the community or anything like that. But please let me know if you guys can hear me because this totally glitched out. What I appreciate, I don't do it, bollocks. What I appreciate about the Alliance is that we question everything. We question everything, and everybody's in there questioning stuff. There aren't a lot of like big, okay, you can hear me. Thank you, Melly. It's not a bunch of just like big, bold claims and predictions and New Age dogma and just like, oh, I can't. I just can't. I'm so done. And I really see how I got sucked in the beginning there, and how this has really been all about breaking free in this moment, leading very much up to this moment. So around the 15th, we are going to be extremely triggered. Like I said, we have that Draco and Atlantis conjunction. On the 18th, Venus will conjunct the supergalactic center. So right after it transits Atlantis, let me go over here. Right after it transits Atlantis, it's going to align with the supergalactic center. So we're going to be rewriting shit, giving a chance to take a different road, do something different, not repeat these karmic cycles, unlock what we have forgotten, remember it, and then it's like we'll simultaneously be able to, like, for lack of a better term, I'm trying to move away from the technological words, but I don't have a new word yet, so I'm just going to use this. It's like we're going to simultaneously be downloading all the stuff that our soul knew in these past lives, okay? All the stuff that like a lot of souls knew in past lives, right? Because we can tap into this world soul and remember if we work to break free, right? And we don't funnel it through this gate. And then we're going to have to, pass some tests, particularly around our loved ones, but we're going to be remembering a lot from both these timelines, Atlantis and Alexandria. And then it's going both Atlantis and Venus. Atlantis will conjunct the supergalactic center on the 24th, and Venus will conjunct on the 18th. That will be like a new activation, like something new and galactic. It's not remembering, it's leveling the fuck up. It's like, okay, you did all this work. You broke these karmic cycles. You remembered. You claimed sovereignty. You liberated yourself. You integrated these wounds and activated this wisdom. You rewrote these timelines by taking the different path this time. And now we're going to reward you. And now we're going to reward you with these huge galactic activations. We have Venus on the 18th aligning with the supergalactic center. Atlantis on the 24th, aligning with the supergalactic center. And then Mercury, the planet of our consciousness, who's over here dealing with all of this stuff, then will align with the supergalactic center at the end of the month, the last day of the month on the 31st. The day after, the sun reaches Draco. So the sun will align with Draco on the 30th, and Mercury will align with the supergalactic center on the 31st. So we're going to be doing a lot of shadow work. This is like, it's like ego work and shadow work at the same time. We're working on both sides of the spectrum. It's almost like from now until this autumn equinox, when the sun will align with the supergalactic center, we're a pendulum. I wish I had one here. We're a pendulum, and we're swinging from extreme to extreme as these planets transit Leo, the like light, right? And then they start transiting Draco throughout the ending degrees of Leo. There are stars of Draco into Virgo. So we're going to be working on both the ego and the shadow, and we're going to be like swinging back and forth until we ultimately work on both and find that like middle ground as we lead up to the autumn equinox. So much work and integration is going to be occurring. So that is all of the main starseed activation dates. We have Mercury in Alexandria, the sun in Alexandria, Mars in Draco, Mercury in Draco, Venus in Atlantis, Venus in the supergalactic center, Atlantis in the supergalactic center, the sun in Draco, and Mercury in the supergalactic center. And then all month, Saturn opposes Alexandria as we're having this heliacal rising of Sirius. This month is potent. We're going to be tested all month. We're going to be tested all month in order to unlock this. So if you feel yourself being tested, instead of like beating yourself up or falling into like, why is this happening to me? Why do I feel like I'm constantly being butted up against a wall? We're going to feel like that as we approach this Saturn-Uranus square again here at the end of the month. It's like you want to go and you want to stop at the same time. It feels like you're hitting a wall. It feels like you're constantly hitting walls. And you're constantly being tested and having to break free and being restricted and having to break free. Instead of getting frustrated and squirt, stop it. Instead of getting frustrated and riddled with anxiety and fear, we're going to talk about that as we move on to another transit. Think to yourself, these are initiations. These are tests. I'm on a quest. I'm walking through the fucking wilderness and I'm being met with all these tests on my way to becoming a sovereign motherfucking wizard. And this month is huge and I know it. And I'm going to combat these tests with honor and courage and strength, understanding that these are here to set me on the right course. We didn't touch on this too much because I obviously didn't go in linear time, but in addition to the sun and Mercury making oppositions to a lot of these planets this month that are retrograde, Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune, we're being presented with lots of tests, restructuring of beliefs, and shattered illusions. This is all happening throughout the month, while simultaneously a lot of those planets are going to be squaring the node, the north node, which is the path that we're taking throughout this 18-month eclipse story, which is on its tail end. So a lot of action is going to be required of us on this new path that we're taking forward that we literally can't see right now. I saw a really great meme today. I think it was from Astrology Vibes, and she did a really great job of encapsulating what this month is going to be like. Lots of insights, lots of downloads, lots of information, lots of ideas, funneling through this triggering energy. Write it all down. Don't try to make sense of it now. Virgo season will be coming. Virgo season starts here with Mercury entering Virgo on the 11th and the Sun entering Virgo on the 22nd, that's going to start to ground us down. That's going to start to ground the Virgo actually, the Sun actually enters Virgo the same day as that Aquarius moon. So, because it falls right at the ending degrees of Aquarius, and then right after the moon, it will transit into August 22nd. Yeah, it will transit into Aquarius. What? Okay, yeah. It will transit into to Virgo. So this is when the new plan that we don't even have fathomed just yet will start to develop. This is when we're going to be able to ask all the questions we didn't know we needed to ask yet. Look at the data and look at the facts and align with some logic in order to move forward with a structured plan. Virgo is really going to help us ground down and map out our plan moving forward. I have a lot of placements in Virgo. So people talk a lot about Virgo being grounded earth sign, and you know, it can be. It can be. But Virgo is not like Taurus or Capricorn. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's ruled by a mental planet. It's ruled by a planet that rules the mind. And so Virgo can sometimes not be grounded, like legitimately at all, and instead can be just a manic hot mess, anxiety filled, scattered, and not unable to navigate effectively. So in order to channel the grounded energy of Virgo, you actually have to put some work in. It's not like Taurus that just kind of comes and like, whoo, we like fall into the physical. It's not really like the like structured Saturnian energy of Capricorn. It's more like this is here, and it can really ground into the body. Virgo rules the sixth house of the body, and it can really ground into like that service energy for the collective, but it will require you to actually do it and not get like lost up in the mind. So make sure that once these Virgo planets come around that you work to harness that, because we are definitely going to need it. It's going to be a lot. People are going to be making hard decisions. Finding ways to break free from this system that is being built around us. This might look different for everyone. For me right now, it's looking like homeschooling my kids because I can't send them back to what school is like now. For other people, it is going to be like physically out there protesting, and you know, fighting back for our basic human rights. Standing up at your jobs, standing up at your schools, standing up in whatever ways that we can. We're gonna have to navigate this the next couple of months very strategically. And I wrote here that this is like our second chance at the revolution, right? So we have Virgo season starting around that time. Prior to the Sun entering Virgo, and right after our Aquarius moon, which falls on, no, right before our Aquarius moon. Okay, so our moon falls here on the 22nd. Okay, just a couple of days before, on the 19th, Uranus stations, whoa, why is this doing it by weeks? Okay. Uranus will station retrograde. So we already have a lot of outer planets retrograde. Eris is retrograde, Chiron is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, and Pluto is retrograde. They're all retrograde. The only one who wasn't was Uranus. And Uranus will station retrograde on the 19th, right before the Aquarius new moon, in a square to Saturn. I wrote here that this is our like second chance. It's actually third and final chance at the revolution. What did I write here? Uranus will station retrograde on the 19th in a trine to Mercury and Mars. Mercury and Mars conjunct here in Virgo. That grounded Virgo energy we were just talking about, really want to ground in around this time. It's working in a trine. Trines are harmonious aspects. So Uranus, the planet of revolution, rebellion, progressive reform, pushing the collective forward through individuality, authenticity, rebellion, revolution, freedom, brotherhood, or through crazy technological advancements. It literally rules both. So that energy is going to be working harmoniously with Mars, our action, our drive, and Mercury, our mind, our logic, conjunct in Virgo, grounded Virgo, while squaring Saturn, that activating that Uranus-Saturn square that we've already talked about, that New World Order square that we're feeling here as we approach the end of this 2030 agenda, which I'm not going to dive too far into now, but it definitely speaks very much to the transhumanist agenda, technological authoritarianism, and scientific materialism. So we are going to be understanding something we couldn't understand before, Mercury, and taking some form of action to liberate ourselves from the authority of the system. I wrote here, this is another chance for the revolution. Break free or remember. It's either liberation or lion food. I don't think it's any coincidence that we all are starting to break free from the New Age realm, the same time that we're breaking free from the Muggle realm, because they both were lies. They both were illusions. And if you are a member of my Patreon and you're going to be with me here in 2 days on the 8th when we go into this moon, we're going to be talking a lot about how New Age spirituality is used to control us and how the UN works with certain spiritualism companies, or what would they be called, corporations, in order to create this new age, new world order religion, to keep us controlled. They knew these truths were going to surface, that our souls were going to remember, and so they, instead of standing back and being like, oh no, what are we going to do? They're going to remember, they're going to awaken, they're going to claim sovereignty, they're going to liberate themselves from the Saturnian system, and they're going to break free. They just decided to give us the information that we were looking for, but inverted and inaccurate and off by just a little bit. Our souls would resonate enough that we would dive in and consume it and often take it on as identity. But our souls now are beginning to question. We're beginning to break free. And we're breaking free from both these realms at the same time because they are stemming from the same source. And we'll talk about that more later this week. But I don't find it a coincidence that this is happening now. I wrote here, this was what I wrote at the top of our calendar. A little summary of like the energy of the month. I wrote here that August is about fertility. So we talk a lot about Leo season and the Lion's Gate, and when we dive into this like New World Order religion, later, we're going to see how they really focus on Sirius as the lion, 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 lion. And they miss the whole point of it being the divine mother, of it being associated with the rise of the Nile and the floods of fertility and the feminine archetype and the feminine light counterpart as well, the divine mother of both the darkness and the light, to our sun, to our egoic sun, who doesn't want to let in anything else. It doesn't want to let anything else into its field. The lion doesn't want to share. But this energy is really about this like fertility. This Leo represents the child. It represents romance. It represents all these archetypes that we could really be aligning with at this time. And we're going to be talking about that during our 8/8 moon. This is going to be a period of justice. All of these planets will then be transiting into Libra. So we have Venus entering Libra on the 15th, Mercury entering Libra on the 29th, and then the Sun entering next month. So the focus is really going to be on justice. It's on the pursuit of balance. Like I said, we're the pendulum swinging back and forth until we reach the autumn equinox and that period of balance. But we have a lot of work to do in order to align with that so that we can harness it when it comes. We are going to be experiencing like so many creative sparks throughout this month. So seriously make sure that you are writing everything down. So much is going to be coming through to you. We're going to be aligning with the energy of sovereign magic, not dogmatic, ritualistic, organized, ritualistic magic. No, we're breaking free from religions. We're breaking free from dogma. We're not just falling into a new one. You know, it's not like Sharon. I almost sang my Space Jesus song. I need to freaking copyright that before they spring the Galactic Federation and Space Jesus on us, because you know the Space Jesus cult is right around the corner, you guys. You know it's coming. Anyway, we are going to be aligning with sovereign magic, and we are going to be releasing ourselves from both spiritual dogma and scientific materialism, both sides of the spectrum. My hair looks crazy, but whatever, it's so hot in here. This energy of the month, we have this rise of Sirius energy, this rise of divine feminine energy happening simultaneously with Leo, the ego. Will he let it in? It's this rise of the high priestess, of the sovereignty, breaking free, liberating ourselves from this solar consciousness and opening the door to a wider galactic consciousness. If we do this, so much stuff will be funneling in through both the asteroid Alexandria and the asteroid Atlantis, which is aligning with the supergalactic center, just as all the personal planets do. Those are going to be huge personal activations within our reality. And then I wrote here that this month, so it takes 28 days for the moon to go all the way around the zodiac. A month is longer than 28 days. This month is 31 days. So there's often one or more starseed points that are hit twice a month, in the beginning and the end. And what I've noticed is the ones that are doubled up in the beginning and the end kind of like sandwich the month, and they seem to kind of be the like leading energies of the month. This is like a theory that has been panning out for me over the past couple months. And the ones we have that are in both the beginning of the month this month are Alexandria, the Pleiades, Aldebaran, and Orion. Orion represents the split. It represents the split of duality, the split in consciousness. Aldebaran represents the polarized light. So we have both the split and the polarization, but we have an opportunity for union, because while we have Orion and Aldebaran, we also have the Pleiades and Andromeda. And the Pleiades is really there to help us balance the heart and the mind and find a balanced middle ground where we can navigate this middle path. And Andromeda really represents divine union. It represents galactic union between the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy. They are destined to collide. We are shooting towards each other. In 4.5 billion years, we will collide. We will become a super galaxy. It is our twin, and it is the representation of this divine union. From the split to the polarization, back to union, and it really happens within, and the Pleiades really does help us to align and find that balance. Okay, I'm going to check in with the chat really quick. Heather says many people are on different paths and at different stages. I feel like this group is past life librarians and wizards, and that's why we question more. Super cold code holders. I would agree. And I think a lot of us, we've noticed a lot of us have the life path 9, which really says that it's like our last incarnation. I posted something about it in the Discord, but it's like our last incarnation here. We're on this like completion cycle. So we really feel this need to like tie up all these loose ends and come back into union so that we don't have to come back unless we want to as like a master, you know? Seriously, dog protected physical, cats protecting the spiritual realm. Oh, we're going to touch here on the dog when we get into the cards. She says maybe the opportunity to embrace the lioness energy. And that's interesting because we're going to touch on that on the moon when we talk about the Holy Grail, the quest of the Holy Grail that this energy also represents in esoteric astrology. And we're going to talk about the lioness and how it was originally the lioness and then it got turned into the lion. And also like the lioness really, they kind of rule a lot more than they do all the hunting, they do all the survivalness. The king lion, I mean the male lions just kind of lay around and don't do anything unless they really get attacked and then they need him to like come and back them up. But the female lionesses do most of, you know, the heavy lifting. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I kind of jumped all around, but that was pretty much the energy of the month. I wanted to kind of cover like the main energetics as opposed to just like going through and listing everything like I often do. Tests, quests, remembrance. We are remembering. We are being tested in order to remember. We are embarking upon quests where we are going to be met with different things along the way. All of this is inevitably bringing us to a period of balance. We need to see where we're out of alignment. This is going to revolve around a lot of Draco placements, a lot of Leo placements. This is like polarized light and the polarized darkness, and finding the balance within, finding the light within the darkness, the gold. Squirt, can you stop? Stop biting. Thank you. Finding the gold within the darkness and the light within the darkness and the darkness within the light. We're going to be talking so much about that in our 8/8 moon. We're going to be talking about the quest for the Holy Grail and how it is the ultimate quest of the masculine mind back home to the cosmic womb. It is the light realizing where it came from and honoring that feminine aspect instead of trying to dominate it. And yeah, make sure you guys try to do something for all of these green days here. Try to align, especially with any of the ones with the galactic center. Atlantis aligned with the super galactic center. Work on rewriting that timeline. Anything that has come up for you in the past regarding that, any sort of like karmic patterning or anything revolving around these time periods, Egypt, Atlantis. Now is when we can really break free from the karma that we hold to those periods and rewrite the timeline so that this fall does not happen again. Okay. I just want to see if there's anything else I want to touch here. I pulled some cards that we'll pull Yeah, I think I pretty much covered it. You guys, this, you can go through this. I'm going to do some posts throughout the month too. I'm going to write some this month. I feel like there's a lot that wants to come through, but I think I covered what's really going on. I think you guys get it. So I pulled some cards here. We're going to go ahead and get into those. Okay, so I pulled a couple of cards, and I pulled an archetype card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I was shuffling the cards, and I was like, okay, what archetype should we, independent from this Lion's Gate, this 8/8 date that most people, the archetype of the lion is going to be what most people are going to be embodying throughout this month. And that is, a good archetype for a lot of people. They need to work through that. I asked what archetype, what like ascended, evolved, independent, free-flowing archetype should we be aligning with, independent from this like siphoning or like funneling of energy into a specific stream, into a specific portal. And I got the shaman, and I was like, yes, that resonates. So we're going to go ahead and read this from the book. It says the shaman, the magi, the sorcerer, the medicine woman. 3 archetypal ingredients constitute the shaman, and all must be present in order to reveal its magic. First, the shaman is activated by long-standing and diligent study, the mentor. I think we did a lot of this study in past lives, and it's just going to be like funneled in through remembrance through that Alexandria asteroid if we deal with Saturn, who also likes us to study. The shaman is activated by long-standing and diligent study, the mentor. Second, its orientation is generously and accurately aimed towards the healing of the self, that Chiron trine, the other, and the culture, all this Uranus energy. This is the healer. And third, the shaman has a knack for finding doorways to the other world. Like right now, all these fixed star alignments and black holes and asteroids. This allows psychic visions and old magic, Alexandria, Atlantis, old magic, to leak into this world from the unseen. In this way, the shaman is a master who bridges the everyday and the sacred, revealing potent power needed desperately in our time. Yet where there is power, there is shadow. So even Leo energy, the light, we've talked a lot about how light creates shadow. So this month is very much going to be about working on both sides of the spectrum. In this way, the shaman is a master who bridges the everyday and the sacred, revealing potent power needed desperately in our time. Yet where there is power, there is shadow. So the shaman must be vigilant in studying their darkness. This card reminds us that the force of healing is ultimately not our own. We must shape it and share it with the world. The shaman can't be rushed. Working with this archetype requires study and perseverance. Think of it like brining or marinating. The content must permeate every fiber of its being. Contrary to popular belief, the shaman archetype appears in every vocation. Teachers, directors, surgeons, politicians, and poets are just a few of the faces a shaman may wear. It says when this archetype is in the light, it is fearless, or like when it's, I hate that they use the light and the darkness because I think that they associate it with good and evil. So I'm going to say when this archetype is evolved, it is fearless. It is the fearless student and practitioner. But when it is in a lower octave, it overpromises, blames, hurts the self and others. It says to go deeper, you can read Michael Tucker's Dreaming with Eyes Open. And then I was just planning on pulling one of the little Starseed cards from my little mini Starseed deck, but 3 came out and they all seemed super aligned. So I went ahead and went with them. They all kind of jumped out. And we have courage, vibration, and strength. Courage and strength are, these are archetypes that we can align with during Leo season to really help us to break free, liberate ourselves, and stand in our sovereignty. It says, and I love that the O's in this deck have a little dot inside, like the sun glyph. So it really helps us to like align with that energy that the sun is aligning with this month, which is Leo. It is Mercury and Alexandria. So it's helping us to bring back all that ancient wisdom, but it's going to take courage, strength, and aligning with these vibrations. So it says courage. Live your life fearlessly with courage, strength, and determination. It really is now or never, you guys. It really is now or never. Wrong eye. I think I have makeup smeared here. Vibration. Your vibration is being raised to higher levels. You are connected to cosmic intelligence. When I pulled this card, I immediately was like, because I'm so, vibration is one of those words that's getting used so much that I don't want to use it anymore. But then I like snapped out of it and I was like, no, they want that. They want these things to get burnt out so that we get sick of them. But vibration is one of the only things that really does exist. Nikola Tesla has that quote that, the universe is just energy, frequency, and vibration. And we're aligning with certain vibrational frequencies throughout this month. That's what we do, is we align with these certain star systems, even just through intention, even just looking at that calendar and being like, oh, Mercury aligns with the supergalactic center today. That's cool. Your mind now has aligned to that vibration. You know that it exists and it easily will start to funnel into your reality. So I snapped out of it. I was like, no, I'm not going to let them take vibration from me too. And then strength. We're going to need a lot of strength to navigate what is to come in general the next couple of years. Lots of changes. And it's kind of up to us which ones they are, And I think a lot of people are rolling over and just accepting the New World Order. And, this next moon in particular is when we can really, really, really set a lot of intentions for what we want for the future, for our children. And it's going to require a lot of strength for us to navigate. But we're here. We've got each other's backs. We're gonna navigate this as best we can. But a lot of things are going to be shown to us here over the next coming months. A lot of shocking, unexpected truths, and a lot of shattered illusions and restructuring of beliefs, which has been in the key energy of this year in general. But a lot of it is culminating right now. So it says strength. You are being guided by the cosmos. Stay strong. A positive outcome is assured. When I get lost, that is what always brings me back around, is like astrology, like aligning with the cosmos, as above, so below, aligning with my chart, understanding what is Leo for me. Leo is my 12th house. Leo rules my 12th house, which is the house of spirituality. I am supposed to be a leader in this realm. Every Leo season, I do something crazy. Right now I'm blowing up the Lionsgate portal, because that's normal. But I know that as I'm doing this, I'm aligning with the cosmos. I'm aligning for the cosmic blueprint that is laid out before me. And if I work to do that, I can work to become co-creators, and these archonic controlling forces start to work with me instead of like against me. And then you can start to align with this path that you incarnated to be initiated out of, right? There's like a lot of things that we are encoded to repeat time and time again until we can break free, and then we can move into like higher octaves of our chart. just know that if you're here right now and you're even remotely questioning anything or working to, align with these frequencies, break free from the system, write your own future, then you're in the right place. We don't have all the answers, and that is how you know that you are in the right place. That's one of the things that gets me the most is like, I feel like I don't know anything about anything. Like, I feel like I barely know anything about astrology. I feel like I still barely know anything about the Lion's Gate. I feel like I barely know anything about the origins of the New Age realm or all these things that I'm diving into now. But obviously, I know a lot more than the general spiritual communities. So that scares me. If I know more than pretty much almost anybody out there, at least on this Lion's Gate subject, and I feel like I know nothing, then we really know nothing. And that is what I've really been getting into my mind throughout Leo season. And it's been that shattering of that Leo ego, is that we don't know shit. And what we need to be doing is questioning everything and coming back to very simple understandings moving forward, and constantly checking ourselves to see if we've fallen into any sort of like dogmatic system or matrix, because we can break free from the Saturnian matrix and fall into a plethora of other spiritual matrices that have been placed there to catch us once we begin to break free, because they knew we were going to break free. Psyops are everywhere. They just are. Okay. So I pulled a couple of more cards. I pulled an Atlantis card since we have so much Atlantean stuff coming through, and I'm really glad that this card came through because I was getting a lot of downloads about animals in regards to Sirius, and I was going to touch on this in our 8/8 video, but I guess it needs to be talked about now too. So I was getting a lot of insights about, Sirius being the dog star, and how our animals are often past life connections from a lot of these time periods. I know my dog. My dog has been with me in probably every single life, and I know she is not just an animal soul in there. Like, she is a full-blown human ascended master. I don't even know, but she can talk. Like, she will let you know the second anything. She will come and get you and make you understand what she's trying to say by like making noises at you until you understand what she's saying. She is a human in a dog's body, and I was getting a lot of downloads about how throughout this month our animal guides, particularly dogs, are like our close familiars, whatever they may be, whatever creature they may be. They can take a million different manifestations. We'll have a lot to share with us moving forward. So this card reads, Melly says, my cat is some form of wizard. He talks too. I believe that. My dog, like, oh my God, she wakes me up all the time when like her toy gets stuck or something. Oh my God. And she'll want a specific toy, and she'll be like yelling at me for like a specific toy, and I'll be like knowing exactly what toy she wants, and I'm like helping her try to find it, even though she has a plethora of other toys to play with. Like, I know she's a human, but man, she saved my life. I would not be here today if it were not for that dog throughout my 20s. She kept me sane. So this is the 10 card. Oh no, it's an 18 card. It says love of animals. In Golden Atlantis, people were aware that animals incarnate on Earth to learn, experience, and teach, just as humans do. Animals were honored and respected as equals, and everyone communicated telepathically with them. Some came to serve us, offering their produce or help. Others protected humans or offered companionship. Humans and animals practiced harmlessness, one of the highest qualities that can be attained. Be harmless. If you draw this card, your guidance is to connect with an animal today. Consider that you are learning from it and maintain an attitude of harmlessness as you telepathically offer greetings. Stay open for a response, a message, or a sense of connection. For an animal wishes to communicate something that will help you. Learn from animals and practice harmlessness. Kathleen says my dog Merlin is a wizard too. Oh my god, Kathleen, I'm gonna name my kid that. My future kid. And Heather says pets have been extra vocal lately, lol. Yes, so vocal. Yes, mine too. And I think it is this like rise of Sirian energy. The star has been in the underworld. It has not been able to be seen, and it is rising from the depths of the underworld to the upper world. And so this energy is rising with it. The dog star, the Sirian dog star. So particularly dogs, but all animals I would think would very much resonate with that. And I was getting those downloads, so I found it very interesting that I pulled that card because I was like, oh, I need to say that. So then I was like, I have this deck, the Spiritual AF deck, Spiritual as Fuck deck, and it always calls me out. And so I use this deck to be like, okay, call me out. What can I not see? What do I need to see? Just give it to me and be blunt. And I pulled these two cards. Exhale that bullshit and rise above your fuckheadedness. And it says, today, practice the ancient meditation technique of inhaling the good shit and exhaling the bullshit. Think of good shit like puppies and pandas and pineapple, or think of things that don't start with P. Breathe that in like it's sparkles. Exhale bullshit stuff like anxiety, self-doubt, and resentment. Let it leave your body like dust being cleared out. It works. At the very least, you'll have an idea about what stuff you like and what stuff to dump on your therapist. And then the other card is rise above your fuckheadedness. And it says, this is so Leo season. We're all fuckheads in our own way. The trick to winning at life is developing the ability to identify your own flavor of fuckheadedness and then rise above it. What little thing can you do different-ish and better-ish today? You beautiful fuckhead, you. So I think that this moon, we're going to be talking a lot about this moving forward. This new moon this month is going to be a great time to set intentions around sovereignty and a lot of integrating of both the shadow and the ego. We're going to be talking about this like demiurge concept and this like war within that is seeking to end. And the reason why this moon is such a pivotal period to focus on that inner war and find sovereignty within. And the interesting fixed stars and all of the crazy new findings. It's going to be like another mini rabbit hole, Lionsgate rabbit hole, and then we're going to like dive into how we can reclaim sovereignty and align with the free flowing energies of these celestial points and not through some sort of dogmatic concept or construct. And yeah, we're going to touch on like the concept of like this new world order religion, but then I'm going to expand upon that later in another video because it's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I just wanted to close with this thing that I wrote last year during Lionsgate, and I call it the Sirian Call of Sovereignty. And it says, I embody the truth that I am always connected to Sirius, and that the connection is found within. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, next month, every day. For I am the cosmos, and the cosmos are me. As above, so below. As the universe, so the soul. I do not need to join a ritual on 8/8 to know this truth. Everything, including truth, is found within me. I am one with all that is. I am a walking, talking, permanent portal to the cosmic realm, and that date has nothing on my magic. And that is it. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to write them in the chat. My hair looks so crazy. It's so hot in here, guys. We're going to meet in 2 days. I've been in this 8/8 video research mode for a while now. I was doing a Starseed astrology session with a client who had a point aligned perfectly with this moon, and so it set me down this like fixed star rabbit hole because it aligns with a star in Draco, and this like demiurge rabbit hole, and then went into like the Holy Grail and like all kinds of stuff. And then I tied it all in through esoteric astrology. So it's going to be super interesting. Might be long, but it's going to be airing on the 4th, so you'll have a couple of days to watch it before the 8th. But I adore you guys all so much. Thank you for chatting over on Discord. If you are on YouTube and you want to come, and I'm wearing my Monty Python and the Holy Grail shirt because it was so apropos. And then it's got the bunny for the fertility aspect. It's got the king and the bunny. If you're over here on YouTube and you want to come and join us over in the Cosmic Alliance and in our Discord community where we chat all the time about all kinds of crazy stuff that I cannot say on Instagram or really even on here. You guys think I say some far out shit over here. We definitely are talking about way more far out stuff over in Discord, particularly about the you know what and stuff like that. Stuff I just can't really say over here. But yeah, they'll be linked below. Definitely come and hang out. I adore you guys. Thank you for supporting my work and allowing me to do this. I hope that this calendar helps you to navigate this month. Definitely make sure that you're utilizing those green dates, those starseed activation dates. Those are the things that are helping us to tap into what sits beyond and funnel in this energy into this realm where it desperately, desperately, desperately needs it. And we're embodying that shaman archetype that's the bridge between these two worlds so that we can help to create the future by funneling in the energy that we need in order to manifest it. So I hope you guys have a great night